We're going to kick off with Wednesday's Daily Telegraph, giving another update on the week's biggest story, I think. And this is dominating all of the papers. Who's got this? Is it Diane?
Oh, it's actually me. So the European Court of Human Rights has essentially grounded the very first Rwanda flight.
Yes.
So it seems that no flights can leave the UK, whether you want to go to Malaga or Rwanda. Nobody's going anywhere. So they've grounded this despite the fact that the Supreme Court, the High Court and the Court of Appeal have ruled in favour of the government.
Yes.
But the thing is that we are signatories to the European Court of Human Rights.
Yes.
And they've gone, nah, you can't take this off. We think it might be illegal, your policy, because Rwanda's not signed up to our thing.
Yes.
So we're not sure that you can do this.
Well, they've cited safety concerns as well, haven't they, about some of the refugees going to Rwanda. And I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. They're suggesting that the conditions might not be ideal.
For a moment, I genuinely thought you meant the flight. I genuinely thought you meant there's no cabin crew, so how on earth are we going to...
The legroom is appalling.
It's not Ryanair, so...
No, so it's OK. So, Leo, now this is an interesting one, isn't it? Because obviously we are signatories to the European Court of Human Rights, well, to the Convention, which the court interprets the law of the Convention. It's not to do with the EU. I think a lot of people get confused with this and the European Court of Justice, which we are no longer subject to, but the European Court of Human Rights, we very much are. But isn't this going to inflame tensions in terms of... Yesterday, our High Court said, no, this is legal. A court in Strasbourg saying no.
Yeah, considering Brexit was all about us taking back our sovereignty and our ability to make our own decisions, for the EU to step in after this has been tried and tested in various courts, in our highest courts in the UK, and overrule us and say, oh, no, you can't do that.
It's not the EU. This is the point. It's not the EU.
Yeah, but it sounds like the EU.
It sounds like the
European in the name.
Yeah.
It's European in the name, Andrew.
We signed up to the European Court of Human Rights. It predates the EU. It was the Council of Europe in 1950. Predates the Treaty of Rome by 7 years. So this is not the EU. This is something different. But for you, it's not enough.
For me, it sounds very European. It's got European in the title. And I thought we left, and I thought we went through all that pain and all that hassle to have some sovereignty and to have some... to be able to make our own decisions. And it's, it's so hypocritical because the EU, I know this isn't the EU, but the EU in 2019 funded sending refugees to Rwanda. So it's fine for them to do it.
No, the EU has not got a great track record. But as soon as somebody who doesn't smell of garlic does it, oh my God, everybody's up in arms. I think the EU has a terrible track record on migration, and it was paying Libyan warlords to keep people in camps. It's not... If you're pro-migration, then the EU is not your friend.
Which is another great idea that we should look into.
For goodness sake, Leo. Well, let's move away from Leo's xenophobia on this and go to you, Diane. So are you because he's more worried about the fact that it sounds a bit European to me. But you're more concerned with the asylum seekers, presumably.
Well, yes, of course. I mean, they've already been through quite a lot.
Yeah.
And
France,
I
including
think
France and a lot of other very safe countries.
Yes. Now, you have got to look at it from that perspective.
Okay,
and what does bother me, actually, is this kind of flurry of legal help. Like, these lawyers have just magically appeared out of nowhere and suddenly come to their rescue. And I do get a whiff here of a bit of saviour syndrome from the lawyers.
Yeah.
And that they are jumping on somebody who is in the news. But there are a lot of people who are in trouble in the UK through no fault of their own as well, who do require legal help and haven't got the funds to put it together.
So it's so difficult, isn't it? Because it often feels like we're talking about different issues and we're moving away from the plight of the asylum seekers themselves.
Yeah.
They're caught at the centre of all of this. But we're talking about, firstly, we're talking a bit about democracy, whether, it should be our government that is enacting our laws and not these lawyers and Prince Charles getting involved, the Archbishop of Canterbury. It should be what the government wants. And similarly today, we're now talking about a conflict between our government and a court in Strasbourg.
Yeah.
But shouldn't we remember that we're dealing with human beings here?
Yeah, I mean, we are dealing with human beings, and it is, it's terrible that, people can't make a life for themselves in Syria or wherever they're coming from. But the idea that they're asylum seekers is kind of ridiculous, given that they're coming from France, which is a safe country, which, you can claim asylum in. And there's many other countries that they can come from.
They are asylum seekers, though, because one of the passengers was actually tortured, according to the evidence.
But we know that the asylum system is being gamed by economic migrants who want to come here to make a better life for themselves, which I can't blame them for wanting to do. And it would be great if we could do it, and if we could just open the borders and have everybody come into the country who wants to come into the country. But we can't, because we've got a limited amount of space and a limited amount of resources, and there'd be the social and cultural conflict and upheaval that, we'd be storing up problems. We've already seen with the, Western liberal democracy is being sort of curdled and turned on itself. We've got mobs deciding what films can be shown in cinemas. We've got terrorism. We've got grooming gangs, female genital mutilation. These aren't things.
But none of this is to do with these people, these particular individuals.
It's not to do with these particular individuals, but, I mean, it's not... Like, we wouldn't have these things if we had firmer borders, and it would be great to let people.
Well, I think a lot of people are suggesting that this is a bit of a fudge anyway. The whole Rwanda policy suggests a failure on behalf of the French government and the UK government to deal with the problems that we have with people trafficking.
But Rwanda's a fantastic solution. Rwanda's a fantastic country, much better weather than the UK, much better economic growth prospects than the UK. So if you're a single man, which these people are single men who, we're not throwing, women and children anywhere. They're going to be able to make a fantastic life for themselves in Rwanda.